anyone and no one, and welcome to a new edition of Little ABBA Reviews. In this episode I will be talking about a play called Dinosaur Park. It is a parody play for Jurassic Park. It's done by a theatre company called Superbolt. The play involves just 3 people, and their characters are a father called Terry, a son called Noah, and a daughter called Jade. It's quite interesting that it fleets from present to past and back into present, while giving you the story of the situation.
Was again at St James's Theatre, but this time it was down in the lounge area or the studio area, so it's a little bit smaller. The stage is just a square, and you're seated on just normal chairs around it. Dinosaur Park only had basically 3 actors, 2 males and 1 female, and the dynamic was one was a father, one was the son, and one was the daughter. Dinosaur Park was basically a take on Jurassic Park, but it was kind of like their parody of it. So basically the mum was a paleontologist, and she tragically died a year previous to the time that they were actually on the stage. And this was a memoriam for them, and in which we as the audience were basically friends and family of these people, and that we had gone there for this memoriam, and what they were going to do was put on Jurassic Park, which was on VHS, on video, that apparently they used to use when they were children. But they discovered that it was missing, and so Noah, who is the son, was very distraught, and there was a lot of arguing between the dad and the 2 children, because he and their mother had obviously split up a long time ago, and so Noah, the son, decided to basically had this bright spark idea of recreating the film of Jurassic Park, and so basically he started doing sounds and was bringing back scenes from Jurassic Park. So the play itself jumped from him trying to portray and get them involved in portraying scenes from the actual film, to jumping back into the past of showing what happened through the family, of the divorce, of the of how they felt when their dad wasn't there, and stuff like that. So they recreated. It was a very simple set. I mean, like as basic as you could get. It was a stage with houseplants. That is literally how the stage was, but it felt right for what it was. It just helped the situation, which was quite funny. So they even brought in the character of Mr. DNA from the film of Jurassic Park. You know, the floaty guy waving around. And basically they recreated this by using ball pit balls on a string on their head, like a little headband, and they were just like floating around and talking. It was so hilarious because it was so simple, yet it was so effective. It was just brilliant. So they split the scenes up by doing these dance moves. Quite a lot of times I couldn't tell if they were trying to portray dinosaurs or if they were just flailing about, but that's what made it funny as well. As I said, it jumped back and forth between past and present, showing the issues that they had and to how they'd got to where they are today. The funny bit as well was they used a remote control helicopter to recreate the flight going over, which was so funny, but it was just brilliant. There was really simple props to portray different scenes. The infamous scene of the lizard when he flaps out, they recreated this by using an umbrella. It sounds completely ridiculous when you think about it, but to actually see it and actually see the actress who portrayed Jade stand there with this umbrella opening and closing behind her, like shuddering like the beard and the frill of the lizard dinosaur in Jurassic Park was completely funny. So that they got up to the halfway, and we obviously had a break. In between, during the interval, the music that was played was very 90s. So you had Aqua, Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, which was absolutely hilarious and absolutely brilliant. So we got to sort of sing along to that a bit while they were having a break. When they came back for Act 2, they actually went back into the memoriam scene, and so they were giving a few words about Madeline, who was the name of their mum. And the dad starts, and you think it was nice that he was giving these words, and he said he created a poem. So he started to read this poem, but this poem was so bad. Like, it wasn't a poem. It was basically him just venting out his frustrations of what had happened, including the affair that she had had. That was one of the reasons why they had split in the first place. But the idea of doing that at the memoriam of your ex-wife, just why? Why would you do that? But at the end of the day, it is entertainment. Jade's words to her mum was slightly cringy but slightly awesome at the same time, and basically she did a rap to Coolio's Gangster Paradise, and the guy that played Noah beatboxed for her, and she was talking about how her mum made her believe that she was this independent woman and that, you know, she should take no prisoners kind of thing, which was really cool, but was just funny at the same time. As I said, the props were so simple, like you could see what they were doing, but one of the best props that they used was a simple rucksack. Now, to think that a rucksack could be used in any way other than to carry things was just brilliant. It was just a plain black rucksack with the bungee rope sort of crisscrossed at the front, and they actually used that as the mouth of a velociraptor. So they'd put their arm through the bungee to hold it and used the loop at the top to open out as a mouth so they could go round. To make it more realistic, they obviously had the sound of the velociraptor, but also the sound of a T-Rex. So they used it for the T-Rex as well as the velociraptor. And they even got the girl that played Jade to jump onto the shoulders of the guy that played Noah. So you could see that they were actually portraying the T-Rex because it was a larger animal than it was on the ground. Which, yet again, it was just a simple rucksack, which was it was quite cool. And they slightly twisted the kitchen scene, you know, with all the velociraptors coming in and the wrestling and they're hiding. They actually changed this and they put it into like a computer game style, girl with ladle versus velociraptor, which was quite funny, and it suited the play or the parody really well. The company that actually put it on was called Superbolt. They're a theatre company and you can find them on Facebook and Twitter. So I'm now going to give my little Lisa likes, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was definitely something that I knew was going to be funny, but I didn't realise just how funny and how it was going to be. Sometimes I wished I'd actually had watched Jurassic Park just before I'd gone into it, because it's been quite some time since I've actually seen the film, so there were a few little nuances to the film that I'd completely forgotten about and wasn't entirely sure how or what it was, but it was still funny nonetheless. So overall, I give this 9 out of 10. Okay, so there we have my review for Dinosaur Park. Yeah, again, it's another show that's naturally no longer on at St James's Theatre either. Hopefully it will definitely come back. It's something that I could see at another theatre in London called Leicester Square Theatre. They have a lot of parodies, they have a lot of comedies on it. I can definitely see it coming back there. But yeah, so I will see you next time for another Little Lisa review. Take care now. Bye.